Thank you. It's such an honor and a blessing and a privilege to be here with you all tonight. And indeed, our project is a collaboration. So I thought I would introduce Laura again, and she'll introduce me in just a moment. Laura Dedelow is a DJ, a musician, an artist, and a go-to when friends and family have animal rescue or wellness questions. And her radio work spans over 20 years. WWOZ in New Orleans, WFHB in the Midwest, additionally WHIV FM in New Orleans, PRX and Mixcloud for the Earth Eclectic Radio Hour, which is the subject of our presentation. And she's going to tell you a little bit more about that in a moment.
The Earth Eclectic Radio Hour is a weekly show featuring music that celebrates ecological awareness with a special focus on new releases. And our home base is WHIV 102.3 FM New Orleans at 5 a.m. on Sundays, but you can also listen anytime on Mixcloud and the Public Radio Exchange, and we are actively looking to syndicate. Back to you, Bart.
Right on. Next up, we have an audio clip. So we've structured this performance as a series of narrations and audio clips. And the technician in the room may have to ride the volume control. Hopefully, this will come through at a reasonable volume.
There was green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees. Noah cried, close the door, because the rain is pouring, and we just can't wait for no unicorn. Then the ark started moving, and it drifted with the tide, and the unicorns looked up from the rocks and they cried. And the waters came down and sort of floated them away. And that's why you've never seen a unicorn to this very day. But you'll see green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-back camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants. But sure as you're born, you're never gonna see no unicorn.
So why the fantastical unicorn? Well, as a child playing this song over and over, I thought unicorns were real cataloged species deliberately drowned by an all-powerful deity, along with all the other innocent creatures not on Noah's Ark. The Old Testament speaks about these superpowers which easily could have been used to keep them safe, but nobody seems to have had much empathy for them other than the performers of the song. Nothing added up, and that made me question my religion of origin, causing me to look for something more sensible and harmonious with nature. Over to you, Bart. Bart Everson is a creative generalist at Xavier University Center for the Advancement of Teaching and Faculty Development, a videographer, songwriter, singer, and author of Spinning in Place, a secular humanist embraces the neo-pagan wheel of the year. He serves on the board of the Gaian Way. Bart?
Right. We've got another clip for you, and I'll explain what this significance is on the other side.
Whoa, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Oil wasted on the oceans and upon our seas. Fish full of mercury. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. No, no. Radiation underground and in the sky. Animals and birds who live nearby our night. Oh, mercy, mercy me. All things ain't what they used to be. What about this overcrowded land? How much more abuse from men can't you stand?
All right, and we wanted to feature that clip because we referenced that song a lot in our early discussions about the show. You see, we began talking about the radio program long before we actually began producing it. We started planning and trying to promote it in 2022. And when people wanted to understand what we were talking about, I would always mention Mercy, Mercy Me by Marvin Gaye, because it's a well-known song. The lyrics are very clearly about ecological consciousness, and it has that kind of gospel feel, that spiritual feel to it, which is exactly the kind of music that we wanted to promote on our show. And we've got another clip that's going to move the story forward, and Laura will explain what this means after we give it a listen.
How we tell the children what went wrong. If we look around and found that the swamp was gone. Now if they dry up all the wetland, they raise up all the land. The trees seem to turn to concrete. They charge us for the sand. We wanna save the wetland, save the wetland, save the wetland. It could all be gone in just a blink of an eye. Now that could be the end of your crawfish pie.
This is from a 1979 album out of Metairie, Louisiana. After the flood in New Orleans in 2005, we'd all had a crash course in environmental concerns. I bought this for $1 at a random yard sale in front of a Kingpin bar uptown. I'd been a DJ on WWOZ in New Orleans for a couple of years, so I was able to begin playing it on the air right away. This album is one of the most significant influences on my path to Earth Eclectic. Its songs about the wetlands, fossil fuels, controlled flooding, and more showed me others' efforts to blend music with environmental protection and conservation. Back to you, Bart.
Here's another clip. I only regret that time does not allow us to play the whole medley. But we knew that the very first episode, the very first track that we played on the very first episode of the show would have to be something special. And I think we found it with this medley. The Earth is Our Mother, Shalom Shavarim, Wade in the Water, a medley of a neo-pagan chant, a Hebrew song, and an old African-American spiritual. But what made it especially super cool is that this was performed by Symphony Chorus of New Orleans at the St. Mary's of the Assumption Church in the Lower Garden District. I actually took that photo of the performance that you're seeing there myself. So I rode my bike to the church and heard it myself, and they recorded it. And that was in March of 2024. Our program debuted the next month, just before Earth Day in April. So 1 year ago. And that was the first clip that we played. You're seeing also there a post that we did, a reflection we did for the Gaian Way about the debut of the series. And in addition to the radio program, I would have to say the Gaian Way has been the one organization that has really supported our radio series the most. And we have been puzzling out just recently how we can explicitly frame the radio series as a project of the Gaian way.
Is her temple, a mountaintop to sacred spring, the keeper of the green wisdom, the gift of the wild law she'll bring, and through rain-washed meadows, these snow-laden boughs, you'll find her there. Find the way, track the lane, the pathway you seek lies ahead through the trees. When she's near, you will hear the green goddess' song carried along on the breeze. Crowned with the seasons, branches of velvet she wears.
One of the rewards of our radio project is continuing education. Recently working on a winter solstice show, I learned of Ellen of the Ways, the horned reindeer mother, guardian of the wildwood, protector and provider for her human and non-human family. I especially felt a connection because we live in a semi-urban neighborhood near Indiana University with many deer, including the ones in the photos. They pass through or spend time in our yard and regularly drop off their fawns while they forage. We are honored to be in their family and to provide a space that they feel is safe. Bart?
Let's listen to another clip here.
Once they swam in waters pure and grand, singing songs across the ocean sand. Now the giants rise, their voices blend with the crashing waves, their song won't end. Mothers mourn their young swept away in the tides of man's cruel play. I'm no longer saying save the whales, avenge the whales who've fallen, hear their tales. Haunted low and harassed by sonar screens, looted seas and chemical streams.
All right, I just love that song, and we wanted to share it for several reasons. For one thing, it has kind of big pop hooks and that polished pop sheen, and we wanted to emphasize, that we do play a diversity of music. It's not all just neo-pagan chants. We'll play a pop song. Also, the lyrics are very clear, and I think the intent really comes through. And also, to me, it's very funny, but it's also very sad, but it's also very angry and kind of righteous. I'm no longer saying save the whales, avenge the whales. So it's just got a lot going on. And I knew when we started putting this presentation together, I had to include this song as one clip to share with you. But most of all, because this is referencing a current contemporary event that you may remember happened on July 22nd of 2024. Well, we actually played that song on August 25th, 2024, right? Just a month later. So amazing, amazing speed by the artist to get that song recorded and published so quickly. But it also shows the power of the broadcast medium. This is why we wanted to do a radio program, program on the radio, so people could actually tune in and hear something that was very fresh and relevant and current and contemporary. And so we got another clip now to move the story along a little further.
Heard of climate change, people changing their ways. I've heard the whole world's involved. I'd like to lend a hand, I'd like to understand what I can do on my own. Just count my significance. You've underestimated, even though I'm just a kid. Me and my friends care a garden I can watch grow.
The Teeny Tiny Stevies are two sisters from Australia. They've been putting out albums as we continue our efforts to take responsibility and conserve and protect the environment. We look to the future. The future is youngsters, and this track is included because it's young people taking a leadership role in educating others of all ages. And Bart?
All right, yes, and that's a picture of my daughter at the People's Climate Festival. Dusky Gopher's Revenge by Quintron. As DJs, we try to let the music do the talking, but sometimes it adds so much richness to our appreciation to know a little bit more. For example, to know that song you just heard, that ambient experimental electronic piece, is from an album called Ephemeral Ponds, and that Quintron, a local hero here in New Orleans, Quintron actually got a residency at the Studio in the Woods, which, just as the name implies, is a studio out in the woods of Algiers, just across the river, where artists and writers will go to spend some time, some solitude, some time in nature. He actually put out microphones in the wetlands around the studio and recorded those field recordings that you heard incorporated into the music. He also likes to invent instruments. And so you can see a picture there on the album of the wildlife organ with the knob for the bugs and the bogs and the bees. And interestingly enough, the album itself was distributed on a USB drive, which was in a custom-made frog body. And so yes, we have a role as DJs to provide interpretation, especially for those instrumental numbers where there are no lyrics, and the more experimental pieces. We might tell our listeners, for example, that the dusky gopher frog, after all, is one of the most endangered amphibians in North America, existing only in a few ephemeral ponds in Louisiana and Mississippi.
Leave the fire and come with me. We'll lie beneath the flowering tree and feel the breathing of the earth rise and fall. The green tide sings its song again to wake the hill, to wake the glen, and raise in every living thing an answering call. So leave o'er the Mayfire and hold close your sweet desire, for life's wheel will grant soon the heart's wish for summer's bloom. Green shoot and pale flower garland, the belting bough, circle with joined hands, for heart shines with summer's dance.
So Beltane Night, when certain seasons or holidays coincide with our shows, we like to honor them. For example, Imbolc near to Groundhog's Day, or the solstice in summer or winter. And so it seemed appropriate, since this conference is so close to Beltane, to include Gaya's Beltane Night.
And that's a picture of a little maypole dance that we orchestrated here. You can see me in the background. I'm the guy with the hand in the hat leading a chant for those kids. And that illustration is supposed to show the wheel of the year, the circles representing the solstices and the equinoxes, and the cross marks in between represent what are called the cross quarter days. And Beltane being one of those, also known as May Day or the Spring Cross. One final clip to round out our story.
I look to the mountains to touch me. I look to the mountains to feed my soul. I look to the mountains to hold me. I look to the mountains to keep me whole. I look to the ocean to soothe me. I look to the ocean to feed my soul. I look to the ocean to cleanse me.
Jan Roundy, I Look to the Mountains. We had to include some Jan Roundy because I believe she is the single artist that we've featured the most. We've come back to a lot of artists again and again, and we've played a huge variety over the past year. But Jan Roundy, I think, is the one artist that we've come back to repeatedly. And that song just gives me shivers. And her whole album is like that, Deep Beginning. And it comes out of the community singing movement, which was something I only became aware of through her music and discovered that there's enclaves of community singing going on really all over the country, probably all over the world. And that's actually the focus of our current episode. If you tune in at eartheclectic.org, you can hear an episode about the community that explores music from the community singing movement from various places, including a little Jan Roundy and many other artists. So I did want to apologize to all the artists that we featured. I hope, we in the radio program, we really take delight in bringing you the full length of a song. And I hope we haven't done too much violence to their work by excerpting just a 1-minute clip. To really get the power of it, you have to listen to the whole song. And we think that the episode, when we put them together in an episode, you have an hour of real spiritual uplift that also connects to the natural world and the beauty and sacredness of the living earth. So we thank you for your time and your interest. And of course, as we mentioned before, we're actively looking to syndicate because we think it's important that somebody who doesn't know that they wanted to hear some eco-spiritual music should hear some when they get in behind the wheel of their car, turn on the radio, and they hear that song that says, I'm no longer saying save the whales, avenge the whales. That's the moment that we want to have happen. So we need to get this program out to as many radio stations as possible. So if you know anybody in the radio world, please drop us a line, help us get in touch. And of course, I don't know if we do questions and answers here for us or for the other presenters, but we would welcome that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all of our presenters. These were some really incredible presentations that really supported each other so well. It felt like a real invitation into relationship. So thank you for that. We do have a few minutes for questions, both among the audience and between the presenters. All right, if no one has any further questions, this recording will be available soon by following the link that you used to get into this Zoom room. We do have one question in the room here. Yes. Yeah.
I do. I'd like to just say I really, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to ask you guys if I can send you recordings of my community singing group.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we would love to hear from all of our listeners, especially musical practitioners. info@eartheclectic.org is our email address, or you can just, find it on the website, eartheclectic.org.
Thank you, everyone. Really beautiful sessions.
Thank you.
And Laura, I believe you had something to.
Oh, I just wanted to compliment our other two presenters and just say I took notes on what you were presenting. I'm going to look up several of the points.
All right, thank you all for joining us this evening, and please tune in again soon for the wonderful presentations beginning again tomorrow morning. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.